Good day, everyone. Welcome to your English class. Are you ready to learn something new? Today, we will find out the answer to the question, what if, and try to write sentences that shows condition. But before that, let's have these two pictures. Let's look at these two pictures. Picture number 1 and picture number 2. Now, what sentences can you form from the words given in each of these pictures? For picture number 1, if you leave butter in the sun, it melts. For picture number 2, if you heat water up to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. Now, what word does each of these sentences begin? Correct. They begin with the word if. Now, what does the word if show? Correct again. It shows condition. Now, let's try to find out what kind of sentence shows condition. Let's go to the next slide. Now, the kind of sentence that shows condition is what we call conditional sentences. The conditional sentences states a condition or possibilities, and it also states results. Now, let's try to find out what kind of conditional sentence did we encounter in the beginning of this presentation. The kind of conditional sentence that we encountered earlier is what we call zero conditional sentence. Let's try to find out how we use zero conditional sentence and how do we form them. We write zero conditional sentences when we try to show general truths, something habitual, something that is found in the real world, and something scientific or factual. Now, how do we form zero conditional sentences? So we have the word if plus the condition given plus the result. So we have if plus simple present tense of the verb, and for the result, simple present tense of the verb also is used. For example, if it rains, the ground gets wet. If I cry, I have a headache. If you mix yellow and blue, you get green. If you are tired, you go to bed early. If you leave the object, it drops. If you pour oil on water, it floats. If you smoke, you get old early. If you leave the object, it drops. Now let's try to see if you can write your own zero conditional sentences. Let's try answering the following items by giving the correct form of the verb to complete the sentences. Let's start. Number 1. The menu on the screen, blank. If you blank this button twice, your verbs are appear and press. What is the appropriate verb to complete the sentence? Correct. The menu on the screen appears if you press this button twice. The verbs are appears and press. Let's go to number 2. Put those plants in the sun. If they blank enough light, they blank. Your verbs are die and not get. What should be the correct form of the verb? Correct again. Put those plants in the sun. If they do not get enough light, they die. Your verbs are do not get and die. For item number 3, if you blank the right password, you blank the website. Your verbs are not have and not access. What is the correct form of the verb? Correct again. If you do not have the right password, you do not access the website. Your verbs are do not have and do not access. Very good. Let's go to the next set. For item number 4, my mom blank well if she blank coffee before bed. Your verbs are not sleep and drink. What is the correct form of the verb? Correct. My mom does not sleep well if she drinks coffee before bed. For the last item, blank your teacher blank annoyed if you blank your homework. Your verbs are get and not do. What correct form of the verb should we use? Correct. Does your teacher get annoyed if you do not do your homework? Your verbs are get and do not do. Now let's try making our own sentences. For this activity, you're going to rewrite each pair of sentences to make one sentence with 0 conditional. Number 1 has been done for you. You cross an international date line. The time changes. Your 0 conditional sentence. If you cross an international date line, the time changes. Now try it on your own. Number 2, ice floats. You drop it in water. What should be your conditional sentence? Correct. Ice floats if you drop it in water. Let's go to the next items. Item number 3. There is no rain. The grass doesn't grow. What is your 0 conditional sentence? Correct again. If there is no rain, the grass doesn't grow. For item number 4, iron rusts. It gets wet. What should be your conditional sentence? Correct again. Iron rusts if it gets wet. For number 5, babies are hungry. They cry. What should be your conditional sentence? Yes. If babies are hungry, they cry. And for the last item, the river freezes. It's very cold. What should be your conditional sentence? Correct. The river freezes if it's very cold. I think you're ready to write your own conditional sentences. That's it for today. I hope you learned a lot in writing 0 conditional sentences. See you next meeting and happy learning.